You ever love someone so much, you'd give them everything? Your time, your trust, even your future? That was me, until I found out she gave her loyalty to someone else. This isn't just a breakup story. This is what happens when betrayal lights a match, and I'm the one holding the gasoline. Welcome to AITA Revenge Stories. Let me tell you something about betrayal. It doesn't come from your enemies. It never does. It comes from the people who hold your hand in the dark. The ones who promise to protect your heart. The ones who swear they'd never hurt you, until they do, and then act like you're the crazy one for bleeding. My name is Ryan. I'm 34 years old, and this is the story of how my fiancée, the woman I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with, ripped my soul apart, and how I made sure she'd never forget what she did. We met 7 years ago. Emily was electric. The kind of person who walks into a room and pulls the atmosphere toward her like gravity. She was warm, witty, sharp-tongued, but tender-hearted. We met through mutual friends at a bonfire party. She spilled beer on me and laughed like she already owned me. And I guess she did. Within 6 months, we were inseparable. We moved in together after a year. Talked about kids after 2. I bought a ring on our 3rd anniversary and proposed on a cold December night in the city where we first kissed. She said yes with tears in her eyes. We started planning everything. The house, the wedding, the future. She wanted 2 kids. I wanted a dog first. We compromised. She said she wanted to grow old in the same place. I started fixing up the old farmhouse her parents left behind so we could live there someday. She called it her forever home. She called me her always, and I believed her. I worked long hours, took side jobs on weekends, poured my sweat into that old house, even when it meant we barely had time for dates or vacations. I thought I was investing in our future. Every tired night, every aching muscle, it was for us. What I didn't know is that I was building a kingdom for someone else to rule. The first red flag was small, stupid. She started guarding her phone more. At first it was casual, locking the screen faster, tilting it away. Then she changed her passcode. She said it was because her friend's kid got into her texts and sent messages to her boss. Plausible, right? But that was just the beginning. She stopped talking about work, stopped mentioning certain friends. She'd come home late, say she had drinks with the girls, but there were no lipstick stains on wine glasses. No lingering perfume, just silence. I asked questions. She gave answers. Logical ones. Rehearsed ones. And I wanted to believe her so badly, I swallowed every lie like medicine. Until the day I got sick. It was early spring when it all collapsed. I was clearing out some junk in our attic to make room for storage bins, just normal weekend stuff. I came across an old laptop. One of her old ones from college, I think. It was dead. I found a charger, turned it on. I wasn't looking for anything. I wasn't snooping. I was literally trying to see if it still worked so we could donate it. But when it booted up, it went straight to her desktop. No password. And there it was. A folder named Conference Trip 2022. Except she didn't go to any conference that year. Not that I knew of. Curiosity turned into dread real fast. I opened it. There were photos, dozens, of her in a hotel room, of her in lingerie, selfies of her in bed with a man I'd never seen before, smiling, laughing, naked, together. Timestamps confirmed everything. These weren't old photos. They were from just 4 months ago. I scrolled through them like I was watching a movie where the main character dies at the end and doesn't even know it. I shut the laptop. My hands were shaking. My chest hurt. It was like the floor dropped out from under me and kept falling. She'd been cheating, behind my back, smiling in my face, sleeping next to me every night, and I had no clue. When she got home that night, I didn't say anything. I cooked dinner like normal. She joked about her boss being annoying. I smiled. She kissed me goodnight. I kissed her back. And the whole time, I thought about how easy it was for her to lie. How natural. Like betrayal was just another language she spoke fluently. I didn't confront her, not right away, because I wasn't just angry, I was calculating. You see, the thing about betrayal is that if you react fast, you give them control. You give them the chance to twist the story, to make you the villain, to erase the evidence. But if you wait just long enough, you get to write the ending. Over the next few weeks, I became an actor in my own life. I watched her lie, repeatedly. I watched her sneak around thinking she was clever. I found receipts, saw messages she thought she deleted, noticed changes in her behavior that all confirmed what I now knew. She was cheating. Not once, not twice. This was ongoing. An affair. The guy's name was Colin. Worked in some marketing firm across town. Married. Yeah, married. She was the other woman, and she didn't even care. That's when the idea came to me. If she could lie so easily, what else could I make her believe? Let me be clear. I didn't want revenge at first. I wanted answers. I wanted to scream at her, cry, fall apart in front of her. But then I realized that's exactly what she'd expect. She'd expect me to explode, to beg, to threaten, to make it about me. But she had already decided I didn't matter. And that's when my love turned into something else. I wasn't going to just walk away. I was going to make her watch as everything she cared about unraveled. Slowly, silently, perfectly. Because real revenge isn't loud. It's surgical. First, I studied her, like a hunter watching its prey. I paid attention to her routines, her moods, her tells. I noted when she lied and how she did it. The pauses, the little smirks she didn't think I saw. The way she smiled at her phone but not at me. She wasn't just cheating physically. She was emotionally gone. Disconnected. And she was slipping. Too arrogant to be careful anymore. She left her laptop unlocked one night. It took me 5 minutes to copy everything I needed onto a flash drive. Photos, email logins, travel receipts, chat logs with Colin, her married boyfriend. I read messages that made my skin crawl. If he ever finds out, I'll just cry and say I was lonely. He's boring now. All he talks about is the house. You make me feel alive. I want to see you again next week. This wasn't a one-night slip. This was a second life she was living behind my back. But here's the part that really snapped something in me. She had joked about me. Mocked me. He thinks he's such a provider. It's cute, really. He's fixing up that old house like it'll fix us. Every memory we'd built, she'd weaponized it behind my back for laughs. And that's when I knew I couldn't just leave. I had to make sure she lost everything she lied to protect. The first thing I did was visit a lawyer. Discreetly. We weren't married yet, but we were financially entangled. I had added her as a co-signer on several property-related things, and she'd co-signed for a business loan I took a year prior. I wanted to disentangle it quietly, while collecting leverage. My lawyer was cold, brilliant, and efficient. She helped me pull my name from the business account without alerting Emily. We shifted assets, closed joint accounts, and moved key paperwork to my private P.O. box. She helped me build a wall without Emily even knowing a brick was missing. Meanwhile, I acted normal. Loving, present, just busy, always working late or stressed with bills. She didn't notice. She was too wrapped up in Colin, and that was fine by me. Colin, the married guy, was next. I didn't confront him, not directly. Instead, I created a fake email using a burner account and sent his wife an anonymous message. Included photos, chat logs, even timestamps. No threats, no drama. Just the truth, neatly packaged and gift-wrapped. 3 days later, Emily came home fuming. "She's insane," she hissed, throwing her purse on the table. I played dumb. Who? Colin's wife. She found out somehow. She's going through his phone. She's threatening to show up at his office. "Oh, wow," I said, heart pounding with satisfaction. "That's messy." She never suspected me. Why would she? I was the boring, loyal handyman she thought was too stupid to know anything. She paced around that night like a trapped animal. He wasn't answering her texts. She was losing control. And I could feel it. And I wasn't even done. Emily worked at a local events company, upper management, but not quite executive. Her job relied heavily on reputation, social polish, and discretion. So I created a second burner account. Then I forwarded some of her less professional messages, including one where she used company time to schedule a getaway with Colin, to her company's anonymous HR inbox. Not enough to get her fired, just enough to raise eyebrows, to make them watch her more closely. She started getting pulled into meetings, started complaining about weird vibes from her manager, started drinking more at night. I just listened, nodded, and waited. The house was our dream, but it was my work. I had renovated it top to bottom, rebuilt floors, replaced pipes, even poured the concrete walkway myself. She loved that house. Told her friends it was her castle, and legally, I still owned 100% of it. It had been gifted to her parents, who left it to her, but she signed it over to me in exchange for my investment when we started renovating. I held the deed, so I listed it. quietly, through a friend. She didn't notice the new mailbox key, the disappearing tools, the strangers driving slowly by taking photos. She was too busy spiraling over Colin going silent. I got a buyer within a week, full asking price. All I had to do was sign. But I didn't. Not yet. Because the house wasn't just leverage, it was the final blow. I waited until a Sunday night. She was curled up on the couch, half drunk, scrolling through her phone, trying not to look panicked. I sat down next to her. "Can I ask you something?" I said quietly. She glanced over. Do you love me?" She hesitated, just for a second, then smiled. "Of course." I nodded. "Good, because I love you too. So much that I want to be honest." Her smile froze. I stood up, went to the desk drawer and pulled out the flash drive. I handed it to her without a word. She looked at it, then back at me. "What is this?" "Your second life," I said. "The one you've been living behind my back." She opened her mouth. To deny it, maybe, or cry, or run. But I didn't let her. "I know everything, Emily, about Colin. The fake conference. The lies, all of it." Silence. Her lip trembled. Don't lie to me again," I said gently. "We're past that." She sat there, stunned, as I laid it all out. The emails, the photos, the travel logs, the voice memos. I even played one of her own messages out loud. Then I told her what I'd done. Sent Colin's wife everything. Notified HR about her work trips. Removed her access to the accounts. Found a buyer for the house. She stared at me like I was a ghost. "You can't do this," she whispered. "I already did." "You loved me." "I did," I said. "And then you killed that version of me. Now I'm just the man who buried him." She cried. She begged. She threatened. She said she'd tell her friends I was abusive. I showed her the backup drive I gave to my lawyer. The timestamps. The written confession she'd accidentally typed into a text I saved. "Try me," I said quietly. "Burn me, and you go down too." And that was it. She left the next day. Took her clothes, her guilt, her silence. I sold the house 2 days later and used the money to take a trip across Europe I'd always dreamed of but never taken because I was saving for our future. And when people asked what happened between us, I just smiled and said, "She made a choice. I made mine." I thought that would be the end, but it turns out people like Emily don't go down quietly. She doesn't admit defeat. She doesn't reflect. She retaliates, even when she's already lost. And I wasn't naive enough to believe she'd disappear after walking out with just a duffel bag and a bruised ego. No, I knew better. I just didn't know how far she'd go. It started small, subtle. A friend texted me, "Hey, just so you know, Emily's telling Boo you cheated on her." Then another, "Did you really lock her out of the accounts without warning? She's saying you left her with nothing." The narrative was shifting. She was rewriting the ending in real time, turning herself into the victim and me into the villain. I didn't respond. Not at first. But I kept receipts, screenshots, logs, dates, witnesses. I knew that in the age of whispers and tweets, silence can feel like guilt. But I didn't want to play defense. Not yet. Let her spin her web. The spider always forgets who built the floor underneath it. Here's what she didn't expect. Colin wasn't going to save her. After his wife exposed the affair to his boss, courtesy of my anonymous tip, Colin's career tanked. He wasn't just cheating. He was using company cards, falsifying travel records, and violating HR policies. His wife filed for divorce. He lost his job. And guess who he blamed? Not himself. He blocked Emily, ghosted her, cut all contact, and she unraveled. That's when she started calling me again. Blocked numbers, private messages, fake emails. "I just want closure." "You didn't have to destroy everything. We loved each other once. Doesn't that mean anything to you?" Closure? No. Closure is earned. She wanted absolution, a reset button. But I wasn't her priest, and this wasn't a confession. The final collapse came about 6 weeks later. I got a call from her sister, whom I'd always respected. She was quiet, calm, and never interfered. "She's not doing well," she said softly. "Emily's spiraling." "Define not doing well," I replied. "She's been drinking. A lot. She got into an argument at work. HR put her on leave. Her landlord's threatening eviction. She thinks people are following her." I stayed quiet. "Look," she added, "I'm not asking you to talk to her. I just thought you should know, in case she tries to twist something." There it was. Not a warning out of compassion, a warning out of caution. Emily wasn't just spiraling. She was dangerous. Not physically maybe, but emotionally. Legally. She had nothing left to lose. And when people like her reach that stage, they don't fall alone. They pull others with them. She tried. Oh, she tried. She filed a police report claiming I'd stolen items from her when she moved out. The problem? She never owned any of it. Every receipt, from the couch to the TV to the paintings on the wall, was in my name. She hadn't paid for a single thing. The officer who called me sounded bored, tired. She says he took a jewelry box. It was mine, bought before we met. Do you have proof? I have the receipt. Right. I'll mark the case closed. Sorry to bother you. One final gasp. One last flick of the tail before the beast sinks beneath the water. It didn't end with screaming. It ended in silence. She moved out of town, probably to live with her parents, who had long stopped asking about me after the breakup. My name vanished from her mouth because no one was listening anymore. She didn't just lose me. She lost credibility. Because the thing about burning bridges is, eventually you're the one standing alone in the smoke. It's been 8 months. I've rebuilt. Slowly. Quietly. I live in a smaller place now. No grand house, no fixer-upper. Just peace. Just clean mornings and quiet nights. No secrets hiding in locked phones. No forced smiles. And sometimes, late at night, I still wonder what would have happened if I hadn't found that flash drive. If I had believed her when she said, "I love you," that one last time. But then I remember, I did love her. And she used that love like a weapon. So no, I don't regret the revenge. Because it wasn't revenge for the cheating. It was justice for the betrayal. And justice doesn't always wear a robe. Sometimes it wears a calm smile and walks away. I wish I could say the story ended clean. I wish I could say that once Emily vanished from my life, I finally exhaled, found peace, started fresh, healed completely. But if you've ever truly been betrayed, you know better. Closure isn't a finish line. It's a slow, bitter reckoning with yourself. And even after the dust settles, the echoes remain. I'd moved on. Physically, new city, new job, new apartment, no mutual friends. But trauma doesn't respect geography. Sometimes I'd walk into a coffee shop and smell her perfume. Or I'd hear a laugh, the same sharp pitch she used when she got nervous, and my stomach would drop before my brain caught up. I deleted every photo, every video. But I couldn't delete the scenes in my head. The night we painted the kitchen. The way she used to dance in the hallway after wine. The first time she told me she loved me. And how real it felt. It was real. For me, that's the twist of betrayal. You weren't both pretending. Only one of you was. Yeah, I went to therapy. You don't engineer a woman's social, financial, and professional collapse, even if she deserved it, and walk away untouched. Some nights I'd lie awake wondering if I'd gone too far. Was it justice or vengeance? But my therapist said something I'll never forget. Justice without accountability is revenge. But you gave her chances. She chose to bury the truth. You simply dug it up. I still wrestle with that. I still think about the line between self-protection and destruction. But when I remember the nights she was sleeping next to me while texting another man, when I remember her lying through tears, kissing me while she kept secrets, I don't feel guilt. I feel clarity. It was a cold Wednesday in February, over a year after the breakup, when I got the email. Subject line, "You never deserved what I did." It was from her. Emily, just words on a screen, but they hit like a punch to the ribs. I'm not asking for a reply. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I don't know why I sabotaged what we had. You were good to me. I don't know what's wrong with me. I hope you're doing better. I hope you're happy. I stared at it for an hour. I didn't cry, I didn't smile. I just felt empty, because by then, I wasn't angry anymore. I was just tired. I drafted a response. I never sent it, but I'll tell you what it said. You didn't ruin my life. You just reminded me how fragile love can be. You took my trust, my future, my stability, and traded it for cheap thrills and stolen hours. But I don't hate you, because hate still means you matter. And you don't. Not anymore. I'm not replying because I need closure. I'm not replying because I already have it. Goodbye, Emily. This time forever. I hovered over send, then I deleted it. Sometimes, silence is the loudest answer. A few weeks later, I had a dream. We were sitting at our old kitchen table. She was smiling, pouring wine, talking about wedding plans like nothing ever happened. And I was smiling too. But in the dream, I knew the truth. I knew she had cheated. I knew it all. And I just smiled and nodded, sipping the wine, waiting. When I woke up, my hands were clenched, my jaw locked. It was the last time I ever dreamed about her. You might wonder if revenge made me feel powerful. It didn't. It made me feel responsible. Because taking revenge meant owning the outcome, even when it got messy. It meant accepting that justice doesn't always come clean, that sometimes the truth only comes out when someone's willing to set fire to the lies. But more than that, it made me careful. I don't fall fast anymore. I don't ignore red flags. I trust slowly. And I've learned something strange. You don't need to forgive someone to be free of them. You just need to stop letting them live in your head, rent-free. To anyone out there who's been betrayed, I see you. I know what it feels like to have your reality pulled out from under you, to doubt your instincts, to ask yourself if you were the fool. You weren't. You were human. You believed someone. And that's not weakness, that's courage. But don't waste your rage trying to make them hurt. Use it to rebuild yourself, because the best revenge isn't ruining their life, it's reclaiming your own. This was my story, my survival, my revenge. And now, it's yours too.